What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to do a follow-up video on the whole Gina Carano situation and also correct myself from what I reported on the latest video. Mostly my biggest mistake was that I only read from the Hollywood Reporter, and the Hollywood Reporter was saying that her post was implying that being a Republican today was like being Jewish during the Holocaust. So my biggest mistake was only reading from that, particularly media, because you would think the Hollywood Reporter is a credible source. They always get the scoops. They know, they have connections within the studios. However, when you do a little bit of digging and you look at her post, that's not exactly what she was saying. I still think it was a bad analogy. I'll put the post right here. And the reason why I didn't put the post on that particular video that I made, it's because I went on her social media and I couldn't find the post. It appeared that she had deleted it. But when you do some digging, you can find a printout there. So this is what she said. I still believe that this was a bad analogy, but I kept saying that it was offensive, and I think I was completely mistaken because I don't think what she was saying was offensive. It was kind of a post calling for unity because she was saying the government was making people hate the other party. So it was not really comparing exactly what the Hollywood Reporter said here. I think that is extremely irresponsible to say. And not only that, a lot of the other medias were reporting the similar way. Now, I'm not really going to talk about all her posts and her social media in general, because I do not follow actors and celebrities to the point that I know everything that they post and say and like. I know that a lot of people have been accusing her of being transphobic and all this kind of stuff. And I cannot attest for that. I do remember the whole beep bop boop situation, but it appeared to me at the time that people were trying to bully her or harass her into putting pronouns. But I don't fully know the story to say or give you my opinion on that whole situation. But at the same time, I don't think people should be forcing you to put pronouns in your bio if you don't want to. It's her social media, she has the right to do so. Now, I do agree that that post was a little bit inflammatory because it's going to get people talking. The reason why I believe it was a bad analogy is because it can be interpreted in different ways. So I still think that she has the right to do whatever she wants, and I don't think that that was grounds for her being fired. My biggest problem with Disney in this case scenario is that they have double standards, because like I said in that other video, if the problem is that you shouldn't be doing analogies or comparisons to the Holocaust, if that is the problem, you should also not allow Pedro Pascal to do so, because he also posted things comparing a certain party to Yazidis. And that is something that I believe it shouldn't be done on either party, on either side. I personally do not like Holocaust comparisons because, you know, you can think how bad, as much as you think America could be and the situation is happening, nothing compared to what happened in Germany. It's just, there is no comparison there. And I don't think it's fair, you know, to be comparing a certain party to these people, because you can't generalize people that way. And also wanted to make it very clear, I'm not for either party. I'm not interested in American politics. But one thing I learned in my journalism class, even though I'm not a journalist, I am a photojournalist. I do take photos and give it to the publisher, but I don't write news articles or do any investigating. That's not my job. But I did learn on my class that journalism is supposed to be unbiased. The journalist, the good journalist, he's supposed to just give you the news, the facts, and that's about it. If he wants to express his opinion, he could do so at the end of the article saying, I believe that it could be interpreted this way, or this is my thought. That's totally fine. But you should not start the article by saying, look what the Hollywood Reporter is saying here. Gina Carano will not be returned to The Mandalorian to Star Wars Galaxy after sharing a post on social media implying that being a Republican today is like being Jewish during the Holocaust. And when you look at her post, that's not exactly what she said. So this is false. And this is not good journalism, because a lot of people, it's so hard for you to fact check everything. You know, you just look at a news source and you just think, oh, wow, is that what happened? And then you look at her post and it's not exactly what she was saying. And some other news were even saying that she made a joke about it. It was also not a joke. So my biggest problem with Hollywood in general and these big companies is that they have double standards. You know, certain people can get away with things, but others don't, because it appears that she leans more towards being a conservative. But that's a big no-no. You cannot think that way. You cannot, because if you do, they're going to cancel you. They got what they wanted, and they got her fired. And I was very annoyed when I heard the whole news, because in my way of seeing, now that we get a show that we really love, and I really love Cara Dune. I think she's a brilliant character, a strong female. It's the kind of stuff that I want to see, you know. She's not like I need help from this. She's really amazing. She reminds me a lot of Ripley, how Ripley was like just a badass. Obviously, I said that there are certain limits if people are not inciting violence in their social media, but if they can have whatever opinion that they want. Now, I also understand that Disney is a private company and they have the right to fire whoever they want, but they should not have double standards. I mean, if the reason was because of she made a comparison, Pedro Pascal did the same thing. Not only that, if we go back to Pablo Hidalgo, you know, he was not very nice to the fans online. Then we had Ryan Johnson, and now people are even reporting that it's still happening, his trilogy. I mean, good luck with that. And the way that he was just being very demeaning of the fans, and even people are gonna say, oh, but the fans were harassing him too. Yes, I do understand that some fans were being very nasty towards this director, even taking to the next level, saying like death threats and all this stuff that I completely do not support. I do not support any sort of harassment, personal harassment. If you have a problem with the movie, use the points of the movie to talk to this director, not really personal demeaning stuff. I don't think that's the way you're going to get your point across. So I do not support that. But at the same time, these directors, these people that work for these companies such as Disney, you should have the higher standard. You know, you should not engage in this sort of conversation or demeaning the fans online. There is no excuse for that. Just think about, do you think George Lucas would have this kind of fight with the fans online? I mean, that's not how things work. So in the whole Gina Carano situation, I just wanted to clarify that what she said was not exactly what the Hollywood Reporter and other medias were reporting. And I feel that that's sad, because it means that that's the state of journalism nowadays. Even for someone like me, that I'm not for either party, I'm interested in the news, but how much can you trust the news if the news is just giving you an interpretation that is completely wrong? And obviously, some people can read what she said and still think, yes, that's exactly what she was doing. But at the end of the day, I just don't think that's ground for her to being fired. And I know a lot of you guys think the same, because when I did a poll, most of you think she should not have been fired. And I think that this whole double standard is a problem, you know. And I'm not talking about her entire social media, because I am not following all of that. But I just think that if Disney is going to punish one person, they should definitely do to all of them. Also, there are some reports that she had multiple warnings, but apparently she didn't. And she didn't even know that she was fired. Apparently, she just heard it from social media like everybody else. And that's just terrible. And I really hate cancel culture. I just think that people nowadays, they have nothing better to do with their lives, so they're just watching whatever people do and just trying to cancel them for whatever reason. That's not why I'm watching entertainment for. I'm more interested in stories, getting away from reality. I don't really care what these celebrities are doing in real lives, but that's just me. And I'll end this post by saying that I think she's going to be fine. Gina Carano already has another gig. And funny enough, she's going to be working with Ben Shapiro, which is a very much Jewish man. And he's the one that opened the doors for her. She's going to produce, and I think, I'm not sure if she's directing, but she has a project lined up with him, meaning that if what she was doing was very offensive to Jewish people, he would probably be the one to say. But I did watch his video talking about her, that whole situation, and he did say he does not like Holocaust comparisons, but he did not see her post as being a comparison. And I just really wish that the news nowadays, even though they're mostly leaning towards one side, right? They should not have this biased journalism. I wish that they would just release the news as they are and tell us the truth and give us all the facts. But unfortunately, I don't know where we go from here. Try to fact check as much as you can. Do not just trust YouTubers, you know, because most of the time they just have access to the same news that you have, but try to see all the facts. In this case scenario, I would have seen her post if she didn't delete it, but because she had deleted it, I couldn't easily find it, but then I finally found it. And I disagree with what I said on that video, so I just wanted to come clean, and I just wanted to give to you guys the best way that I can, that the facts were not exactly that. But anyways, drop your comments down below. Let me know about what you think about all this situation. I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye.